We are ready for Pokéstop submissions to be available worldwide, and we want our own OPR-like system. What's good, everyone? It's me, it's Count. Welcome to a brand new Pokemon Go video. Today we're going to be discussing the OPR. We're going to be discussing Pokéstop submissions. I think it's about time that we as a community finally get this feature worldwide. Of course, the Pokéstop submission system has been in a kind of a beta test around the world in certain markets, and I really think worldwide this could really benefit the game right now, and there's a reason for that I'll get into in this video. But if you end up enjoying it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and without further ado, let's talk about Pokéstop submissions. Now, the main reason why I'm making this video is really simple. If you went to PokémonGOHub recently, you may have seen an article talking about the OPR. Now, if you think about the OPR, that's strictly an Ingress related thing, but actually, it has a lot of implications and a lot of connections to Pokemon Go. And the reason for that is, of course, because within the OPR, Ingress players actually review and actually approve or disapprove of Pokéstop submissions as well as portal submissions, which eventually become Pokestops anyway. What this means is that for any Pokestop to be added to your area, especially those rural areas where there's just no Pokestops and gyms, you need to rely on Ingress players being active on the OPR. There are people certainly submitting portals and Pokestops in your area, but those submissions will not create a Pokestop unless someone on the OPR approves it. So we have to rely on Ingress players as Pokemon Go players to populate our areas with Pokestops and gyms, and quite honestly, yeah, it can be very frustrating. The OPR has been notorious for being kind of slow, and this is no fault to Ingress players. It's just a massive system for just a small player base to actually be able to go in there and be active on. So it's unfortunate for Pokemon Go players because for years now we've been asking for more Pokestops and more gyms in rural areas, and it's something we've been really struggling with. And it's something that we cannot deny as Pokemon Go players because honestly, if you go to a rural area, it is quite miserable. There's just no Pokestops and gyms around, and it makes the playing experience just detrimental. Unfortunately, because of the OPR and the rate at which Pokestops and portals are being approved and disapproved, it's really been just a hamper on Niantic's flagship game. Which brings me to this point. If you looked at that PokémonGOHub article, it looks like there's kind of a boycott going on within Ingress players in regards to the OPR. The community of Ingress players are really unhappy that Niantic is now starting to charge for tickets for their in-game events, which, let's be real here, I'm kind of glad that this boycott is in place because Niantic, come on, you cannot charge tickets for in-game events. That's just ridiculous. Like, imagine if they started charging us players for community days and raid days and different things like that. It would be ridiculous. People would be furious. And of course, naturally, Ingress players should be mad that Niantic is starting to charge them money for their Anomaly in-game events. And of course, they boycotted, they rioted, they basically said, we're not going to go on the OPR, we're not going to help you out with your Pokestop submissions and different things like that. So yeah, that has slowed down the process for Pokestops and gyms being added into the game, and it's really unfortunate for Pokemon Go players. Which leads me to think that Pokemon Go is now primed and ready for Pokestop submissions to be worldwide, as well as our own version of the OPR. I really think Pokemon Go players should have full control over what Pokestops and what gyms should be added into the game and what shouldn't be. The fact that we have a community of players from a very different game, from a completely different game, taking control of whether or not we have certain pieces of content added into our game is a little bit counterintuitive in my opinion. I understand that Niantic wants to diversify their player base. They want people to spread out into a lot of their other games. Like, they don't want want people who play Pokemon Go to just exclusively play Pokemon Go, right? Like they want us to play Ingress, they want us to play Harry Potter Wizards Unite. That just makes sense at a business standpoint. Of course, if people want to engage in adding Pokestops and, you know, gyms in their communities, they have to play Ingress in order to do that. Like that totally makes sense from a business standpoint, but from a big picture standpoint, it just doesn't make sense because Pokemon Go players want to dedicate all of their time and all of their resources to Pokemon Go. Like a lot of Pokemon Go players do not want to feel forced to play Ingress in order to get more Pokestops and gyms around them. I mean, let's be real here. The main goal of getting more Pokestops and gyms in a community is to improve that community and allow the players in that community to engage a lot more with the game. So it's a win-win for Niantic if they were to release something like this for Pokemon Go. This is just one of my suggestions right now. Like, I don't want to be critical to Niantic for the sake of being critical. I just want to point out that Niantic, Pokemon Go players are ready. Like, we want Pokestop submissions and we want the ability to be able to approve and disapprove of Pokestop submissions on our own. Like, I understand that as of right now, there is somewhat of a system like that already in place for a lot of different markets, and quite honestly, like if it was worldwide, there would be a lot of issues that would come with that, but I see the positives completely outweighing the negatives. I think for a lot of different areas, we've been in desperate need of more Pokestops and more gyms, and just in general, more content for a very long time, pretty much since the beginning of the game. And I think for the game to continue to succeed right now, like we're at a point where we do need to see a lot of this stuff finally added in. Like, I think the time is no better than now. Like, if they were to release Pokestop submissions right now worldwide, I think it would be really great for the game. And of course, as they go along, they could tweak the system and improve upon the system as they go and balance it out. Like, as of right now, I want to say the people that should be able to at least approve Pokestop submissions should be level 40 players with at least 2 years of playtime. Like, I feel like that is fair, mainly because if you do have that, like, you are basically kind of like a leader in your community, like you're gonna be a veteran. So I do feel like if you need to show restraint, you will when it comes to approving and disapproving of certain Pokestops. And I think for people who are experienced with the game, they will be able to tell what areas need more content compared to others. And if they see a lot of Pokestop submissions in certain areas and they are definitely aware that that community desperately needs more content, then yeah, they'll be more flexible with their approvals. I think it needs to be pointed out that for a lot of players who have been playing the game for a long time, they know that if a Pokestop or a gym is located in an area that's going to be, you know, trespassing, or it's in a residential area, like we're starting to see that a lot come up in the news lately. Like, I think for experienced Pokemon Go players, they know that it's not worth it to have that one Pokestop in front of someone's house, like mainly because of all the lawsuits, mainly because of the inaccessibility. Like, it doesn't help the community. So I can see a lot of Pokemon Go players who are veterans being very responsible for what they approve and what they disapprove. So that's something that I feel like Niantic needs to consider. I feel like at this point they should trust their community a little bit better. Honestly, of course, there is going to be some players who do kind of ruin it for a lot of other people. Like, there's going to be bad eggs and there's going to be a lot of selfish people. I do understand that. But if they do keep coming up with different ways for players to kind of self-regulate, I think this system could work. And I know that's kind of what they've been trying to do with the slow rollout of the Pokestop submissions. Like, they're testing it out in different markets to see how players kind of interact with it. So I really do trust Niantic that they will come up with something once they release it worldwide. But what I'm saying right now is that what this OPR kind of situation shows us is that we're desperately in need of this system and we do not want to rely on the OPR any further. Like, Niantic, Pokemon Go players want their own system, and I think we're primed and ready to have that right now. And then of course that does leave the question for us as a community. If Pokestop submissions came out right now, would you be actively engaged in it? If you are a veteran player, would you be responsible with it? These are some of the things that Niantic needs to hear. Like, if you do plan to be very active with Pokestop submissions, will you be responsible at approving and disapproving these Pokestop submissions? Are you you gonna be fully aware that house spawns, like as cool as they are, like they're not gonna help the game? Like, yeah, it'd be nice if I had a Pokestop right on my house, but I fully understand that my house is in a residential area, and for there to be a Pokestop right here, yeah, it could create a lot of unnecessary traffic in my neighborhood. It could create a lot of eyebrow raises, and we just don't need that kind of negative attention for Pokemon Go. And I fully understand that that's why I probably wouldn't submit a Pokestop right here in my house. But who knows? Like, obviously other people just don't care. But I want to know, you as part of the community, like, would you be responsible like that? Or would you be irresponsible and selfish? Like, let's be honest here, some people will be. So let's talk about it down below. I want the message to be clear to Niantic that Pokemon Go players are frustrated, especially those in rural areas. Like, we want to enjoy the game, we want to make the game better, and one way that we can get there is if we have Pokéstop submissions released worldwide. I think that's something that's going to be a huge step in the right direction, and it's something that needs to happen sooner rather than later, and the OPR situation definitely indicates that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this whole OPR situation? I definitely plan to make another video to be released later today talking about that specifically, because I do think there's a lot of red flags and a lot of alarms that need to be raised. But in any case, yeah, let's talk about Pokéstop submissions. What do you think about it? Because quite honestly, I think it's about time, and I really think a lot of people agree with me at this point. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you ended up enjoying this video, don't forget that thumbs up button, subscribe if it's your first time here. I'm Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later. Hey guys, before I leave, I have to give a little bit of a spiel. I mean, when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, it's extremely difficult to gauge how successful you can be on YouTube. Like, there are some times where I have a ton of views on my videos, and there are some days where I just have no views on my videos, and it really comes down to the YouTube algorithm. And there's a lot of times where I get dinged for some of the songs that I pick or some of the footage that I show, and unfortunately it's because YouTube's copyright system is a little bit broken. But if you want to support this channel financially, I highly suggest you check out my Patreon. A link to it is in the description below. Your support definitely helps me out, and it helps support this channel, because I would love to crank out more videos and increase the quality, and for that to happen, I do need your help. So definitely go and check out that link. And yeah, big shout out and big thank you to all of you for supporting my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell as well. Check out the links in the description below. I am Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later.